The All-NBA teams were announced last night with Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola, Jokic, and Jayson Tatum headlining the All-NBA first team. And I got to be honest with you, man, on this episode of Simple Question, I'm going to get things rolling because I got a couple issues. First off, how the hell is LeBron James on the All-NBA 13? Can somebody make that sense for me? Kevin Durant was on the All-NBA second team as a forward. It should have been LeBron James' spot. Listen, Kevin Durant averaged 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists this year. LeBron averaged 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. So we're talking about more points, more rebounds, more assists. LeBron even played one more game than KD did, because let's not forget, as much as we like to say that LeBron missed a lot of the season, Kevin Durant missed most of the season with the injury, but yet and still he was somehow on the second team while LeBron was on the third team. If you want to play the team conversation, LeBron didn't make the playoffs. Well, Kevin Durant was in the play-in. Kevin Durant and the Nets were in the play-in, and they got swept in the first round. So please miss me with the team stuff. LeBron James should have been at least on the All-NBA second team. Putting LeBron averaging 30 points per game on the same All-NBA team as Pascal Siakam, who I love. I love Pascal Siakam. I've been complimentary of him on this very show. But putting him on the same team as LeBron James is just ridiculous. And one more point that I had a gripe with to a lesser extent was Joel Embiid. This man was one of the 3 best players in the NBA this season, point blank period, however you look at it. With him being, eligible at the forward spot, he should have been a first-team All-NBA forward. We understand that Nikola Jokic is the back-to-back MVP. Once you make him the MVP, you kind of got to put him on the first team. So I get that. But Jayson Tatum has been great. He had a great regular season. He's still balling in the playoffs. But you got to make Joel Embiid, who was better than Tatum in the regular season, point blank period. Yeah. He's got to be on the All-NBA first team. I mean, anybody who just simply watched the regular season this season knows that Joel Embiid, again, was one of the top 3 players, however you look at it, arguably the best player in the entire association this year. He should have been on the first team. I would slide Jayson Tatum, who had a great regular season, still ball in the playoffs. He would just have to slide to the All-NBA second team. So those are my 2 biggest gripes, most notably the disrespect to LeBron James and also the disrespect to Joel Embiid as well. What do you make of that? Did you have any other gripes, or what did you make of that?
I mean, the LeBron one didn't even register, and I should have known you were going to come in and talk about that. That's pretty obvious. I get it. I understand where they're coming from. Unfortunately, I think most of the gripes end up because of the team comparisons. That's what ends up being.
Makes no sense.
I mean, that's the justification for all of them, because it's like, did I think Devin Booker really should have been over Ja Morant or Steph Curry, for that matter, who I both think definitely could have been on the first team? No, but Devin Booker was on the best team in the entire NBA record-wise this year.
And I get that part of it because, again, you should reward the best player on the best team. But that's neither Kevin Durant or LeBron James this year. And again, rewarding Kevin Durant for being on a play-in team that got swept in the first round versus LeBron James Lakers who missed the playoffs, it doesn't make sense.
I get it. I'm not going to argue over third and second team. I understand where you're coming from, and it's justified. And it is LeBron James, so the fact that his name is on third team All-NBA is kind of shocking.
Disrespect.
It just doesn't look right. It doesn't fit. But he definitely should have been on first. I could see him on second over Kevin Durant. However, to my point, I think the Tatum thing too, everybody just got swept up in all of this excitement about Boston figuring it out and righting the ship, and now they're on this run. But to put Joel Embiid on the second team is that's more of a slap in the face, in my opinion, than LeBron James being on the third team.
And this is the thing, too. Like people like to say with the MVP, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the All-NBA looking at the regular season? What regular season were people watching where they thought Jayson Tatum was better than Joel Embiid during it? I don't see that. And again, unless you're taking into consideration what Jayson Tatum has done over the last 2 or 3 weeks in the postseason, then you got me. I'm all for it. But again, if we're talking about the regular season, there's no reason.
Just so we cover all our bases, Joel Embiid was available not just for the center, but also for the power forward.
Correct? For the forward position.
He could have been a forward.
So there was 2 forward spots that went to, obviously, Kevin Durant and Giannis, which we're not going to make a debate about Giannis. He got all 100 first-team votes, and he deserved it. But again, Jayson Tatum, I love him. That should have been Joel Embiid's spot, period.
Yeah, it absolutely should. And to my point again, I feel like Devin Booker was the one that stood out to me. Now, I might be a part of that group of recency bias remembering him completely falling apart in the playoffs and just getting dismantled by Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
But I did think he had a great season. I thought the Suns had a great season, but I do think that Steph Curry and Ja Morant had an argument for there. I will say the one thing where I was happy they got it right, and apparently I'm becoming a Bulls advocate for some reason, but DeMar DeRozan, man, I like him on second team. I thought he deserved it. I was worried. You know what? He felt like a guy that they would have just forgotten about, and he would have slid to third team. I'm glad they got it on right. Second team, great resurgence. I was a DeMar fan before he ended up in Chicago, unfortunately. But I did think that was right. Other than that, it is just the team stuff. And I don't get why that has such an effect on the voting like it does. But you can't put Jayson Tatum there over Joel Embiid. And then the few other examples, it's just ridiculous.
Somebody explain to me how Kevin Durant is on the second team over LeBron James. I just don't get it. That's my biggest gripe. But
early, way too early predictions. Even though the season isn't even over, Joel Embiid is going to come out with a certain amount of rage for being snubbed all this time.
Fire under his butt for sure.
Oh, boy.
But, yeah, let us know in the comments who was the biggest snub. What was your biggest gripe with the all-NBA selections? But that's going to do it for us, though. For Scott Proctor, my guy Matt Morris right here. We'll catch you on tomorrow's episode of Simple Questions.